There are a lot of characters in DBZ that have questionable motivations in the series, and a lot of characters start off good and end up being bad, or sometimes the opposite. Today I'm going to give a list of my top 5 characters in just DBZ, no Dragon Ball, nothing past DBZ. My top 5 characters who are actually bad guys. I can't think of a good title for this video, I'll probably think of one when it comes out. But basically this video is going to be characters that on the surface look like good guys, but when you dig down, they're actually bad guys or they were villains in the past. My early ones, I think, are the simplest ones. So for example, number 1 is Vegeta. We all know that Vegeta was a villain. He was the first big villain in DBZ. In the first saga of DBZ, the Saiyan saga, he was the main villain, Vegeta. And he was also a villain when he was Majin Vegeta. And we all know that Vegeta never really became a complete good guy. It's questionable whether he is now. But yeah, Vegeta will always have a bit of darkness in his heart, I think, all the time. Even though he is a good guy and he is an ally to Goku and his friends, he's still a bit of a wild card, Vegeta, you never know of him. So number 2, we have Piccolo. Now Piccolo is kind of similar to Vegeta. He started off as a villain and became a good guy, but is definitely less of a villain than Vegeta. Piccolo in DBZ was never really a villain, but in his past he was definitely a bad guy. But lucky for us and lucky for all the good guys in DBZ, he teamed up with Goku to fight Raditz and then trained Gohan, befriended Gohan, and then became a genuine good guy and a genuine ally. But even though he is a good guy now and one of the strongest Z fighters, back in the day he was definitely a bad guy. Now the last 3 are more obscure characters and ones that you might not realise, depending on how hardcore a fan you are, whether they are actually bad guys. Now number 3 is Android 18. A lot of you will know this, but Android 18 was a big villain back in the Android saga. But for new fans of DBZ, you'll just know her as Krillin's wife. But back in the day, for those of you who don't know, even though a lot of you will know, I know this, Android 18 was kind of a villain twice. In the regular timeline, she was a villain, and quite quickly became a good guy actually, just because of Cell, like a common enemy. But she was also a villain in Trunks' timeline, Future Trunks, which was really bad, where Android 18 and Android 17 really started destroying stuff and killed nearly everyone on Earth, killed Future Gohan, but Future Trunks came back and killed both of them, and killed Cell in his timeline. But there's no denying that Android 18 was a villain in the Android saga, even though she never killed any Z fighters in the DBZ normal timeline. But she definitely killed a lot of them in Future Trunks' timeline, and pretty sure she killed quite a few humans in the regular timeline anyway. So even though, again, she's a good guy now, just like Vegeta and Piccolo, back then she was a big villain. Now a similar one to this, similar one to Android 18, is number 4, Fat Boo, or Mr. Boo, as he's called now that he's kind of a good guy. So a lot of you will know that Fat Boo was the first thing we saw of Majin Buu in the Majin Buu saga, the last saga in DBZ, and all we saw was a big pink fat blob that didn't look all threatening and looked kind of childlike in the way it acted. But even so, after all that, he was one of the strongest villains we saw in DBZ, and even though there were a lot of forms of Majin Buu, Fat Buu was the only one that became a good guy, and became a good guy thanks to Hercule / Mr. Satan. Them two became friends, and Fat Boo didn't want to kill anyone anymore until Hercule got shot, and the evil in Majin Buu came out of him, and that led to Super Boo and Kid Boo, and then Kid died, and then we were left with Fat Boo / Mr. Boo, who decided to stay with the Z fighters on Earth and be a good guy. So even though he was a big villain in DBZ at the end of DBZ, he did become a good guy. So yeah, even though he's a bad guy, just like everyone else on this list, he is now a good guy. But this last one, number 5, is the most different and the most questionable. Now, some of you won't agree with this one, but I think it's true. Now, number 5 is Bardock. Now, just because he had his own movie and because he's Goku's father, doesn't mean he's a good guy. He killed a lot of innocent people just for a paycheck, and he didn't really care about them. No mercy, no remorse, no guilt, he just was doing his job. Now, you could say he became a good guy near the end of the movie where he decided to stand up for what's right, but again, that was kind of a selfish act because he was trying to defend himself and his own sayings. But it wasn't that selfish, because he was doing it for his friends that were killed and for his race and his planet. So I wouldn't say he's entirely a bad guy, and he's not an all-out villain like Vegeta was or Fatbu was. But Bardock was definitely a bad guy, killing all those innocent people. Well, they might not have all been innocent, but some of them definitely were. Because Bardock would go to planets with his crew and kill all the inhabitants on that planet. So imagine how many planets he went to and how many people he killed. A lot of people, I'm guessing. And a lot were probably innocent. So yeah, you could kind of look at the list and think Bardock maybe killed the most innocent people. It's questionable though, because we don't know how many people Fatbu killed before he came to Earth. We don't know how many people exactly Vegeta killed either. And Android 18, depending on which timeline you look, didn't kill that many people. But yeah, Bardock was a villain because he killed so many innocent people. I'm not going to say it again, I keep saying it. But I know a lot of you won't agree with that. But comment down below if you do agree with me. Which character in DBZ do you think should have gone on the list? Do you disagree or agree with any on the list? Then tell me down below. And before I go, I'm going to give a quick honourable mentions. I've got 3 extra characters that didn't make onto the list, and you'll find out why now. Because they are all characters from Dragon Ball Super, and I decided to keep this list as just DBZ because it would go on forever if we expanded it to the whole series. So, just quickly, 3 extra characters from Dragon Ball Super that would have gone on the list are Beerus, Hit and Champa. Now to quickly explain, Beerus and Champa are kind of the same thing. They are gods of destruction, so they kill so many people, and technically they are villains, but at the same time they're not, they're just doing their job. They don't just kill people for fun, they do it because it's their job. And with Hit, it's kind of the same thing, like with Bardock really. Beerus, Hit and Champa are just doing their jobs, but that doesn't mean they aren't killing innocent people most of the time. So yeah, I think that makes them bad people. I mean, when you look at people like Goku, Gohan, Trunks, they don't kill innocent people, they kill bad people. And even then, people like Goku try not to kill people. Like, look at on Namek, Goku didn't even want to kill Frieza after Frieza killed his best friend right in front of him, and he killed people like Vegeta and blew up Goku's home planet. Still, Goku wasn't going to kill him. And yet you look at people like Vegeta, where he killed people like Raccoon and Berta when they were, you know, like at death's door, basically unconscious on the floor on Namek after getting beaten up by Goku. He still wants to kill him. So yeah, there's got to be more I can't think of at the moment, but you could probably think of some. There's got to be more that can go on this list, so give me some more down below. And even, I know I didn't go with GT and Dragon Ball and stuff, but yeah, give some for them and even more for Dragon Ball Super. I mean, the Lord of all, Xeno, might go on that list if it's Dragon Ball Super, so, you know, comment down below with all of them and I'll have a little discussion with you whether I agree or not. And yeah, so thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Tell me if you agree with me down below and stuff, and give me any you can think of. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.